Alright, several months back when the Fed started talking about raising interest rates, I immediately went to look at my financial situation, the whole financial picture, looked at how is this going to impact me and what can I do about it. Today I'm going to share with you guys what I did do about it using a cash out refinance before these rates actually climbed and hit their current rates today. And as always, I know you guys like when I get into the details, show you the actual bank statements, online statements with all the numbers behind the scenes to show you how that actually played out and benefited my financial situation. None of this is financial advice. I'm not recommending that you go out and do the same thing, but I'm advocating that you always look for how you can use these tools to leverage equity in your home or real estate in general to better your overall financial picture. So with that, guys, I'm going to pop my screen over and walk you guys through the scenario with my home. So I purchased this home back in 2016 for $180,000. I did use a VA loan, so I had 0% out of pocket into the home. And over time, like anyone who bought a home in 2016, we've seen a massive appreciation in home value. And so now you'll notice that we have $152,864 was my loan balance at the time that this loan closed. And that was just from normal minimum principal payments. My normal mortgage payment, I don't do extra principal only payments. I'm not saying that you shouldn't, but that was based on a current payment, a total payment of $1,073.15 a month. Now that does include escrow and property taxes in that payment. So I did move forward with a cash out refinance to get a little more liquid in times of uncertainty, and I wanted to pull around $50,000 out for a couple things that I had in mind. So I knew my home was roughly valued at $300,000 and that at an 80% loan to value, I should be able to easily do this. And so my home actually did come in at appraised value at $295,000, and I was able to pull out a $215,000 mortgage, or actually put a new $215,000 $500 mortgage in place, which gave me a new monthly payment of $1,343. And so as always, I like to show you guys all the details and behind the scenes. So here is my previous mortgage with Wells Fargo. As you can see, now it's paid in full. I did close on the home. So let's jump into here just so you guys can see all the numbers. I know a lot of people like to talk in theory, but I think it does help you guys to see the actual numbers behind the scenes. So as you can see, like I mentioned before, I was making principal payments or mortgage payments of $1,073. These are just escrow payments going out here, but as you'll notice, most of these are $1,073. And then this is the last payment. So this is from the refinance. And when you refinance with a bank, the loan that you're taking out, or your new loan, the way they do that is they pay off the previous loan and then they establish a new loan. So they did make this last payment here to pay this loan off in full, which is why it's at a $0 balance today. And I opened a new loan with Rocket Mortgage. The reason I chose Rocket, I shopped this around. They were just super streamlined. My schedule's super busy and I like doing things online, and this gave me the best odds of not having to talk to people to still get this loan closed. So as you can see, this is the new loan at the balance that I just mentioned at $215,000. And let's see here, let's make a payment. You see a new payment here, $1,343, which is what I have in the sheet over here. So this is a net difference of an increase in my payment a month by $271, but I do get the benefit of getting a $53,000 check at closing. And you'll notice that here, when we look at our closing HUD statement, so this is the statements here, and it's cash from the seller, and it's a -53, so I had to bring -53, or said otherwise, they gave me a check for $53,000 at closing for an increased principal, an increase of monthly payment of $271. You also get the added benefit of skipping a mortgage payment when you go through this refinance process. However, not enough reason to go through this in the first place, but just an added benefit there. So most folks pursuing financial freedom should pay close attention to your monthly outlay or your monthly expenses, because that really drives how much assets you need to have or how much monthly cash flow you need to have coming in to cover that. So I typically never like to increase my monthly expenses. However, I'm going to walk you guys through how I thought about this process and how the numbers shake out. All right, so I also have an F-150 that I purchased several years ago. And again, I really am not a fan of debt unless they're tied to an asset. However, in times of crazy inflation, I did decide to put debt on my truck. By sheer coincidence, my truck actually has went up in value like most vehicles have, but typically I do not like to carry debt on liabilities like cars, trucks, boats, RVs, things of that nature. But in this case, I have debt on it. I got a very low interest rate, and with sky high inflation, I felt like I wanted to keep this debt in place. However, like I mentioned before, I always keep my monthly expenses in mind with any financial decision I make. I want to walk you through this scenario, okay? So I currently owed $18,000 on my truck here, and as always, I like to show you guys statements of where these numbers are coming from. So this is my loan that I have on the truck. You see 1822, this was a couple months back, but what I want you to get here, 447 was my payment. So when we look at the scenario again, I'm now paying an extra 271 on my house, but I got the added benefit of $53,000 in my checking account. So what I decided to do, and one of the reasons I went forward with this loan, is go ahead and pay off my truck, eliminating a $446 monthly payment, which would leave me with my net to be, after I paid off my truck, would leave me with $35,000 in my account and actually reduce my overall monthly expenses by $175. And so I don't know about you and how big of impact that may be. It's not really changing my day-to-day life, but it did give me extra access to a liquid $35,000 that I can use to take advantage of another deal, a rental property, or something else that comes to mind, while the rest of values and just about everything else is down right now. All right, so just to give you an example, I can buy rental properties at 80% loan to value, which means, keeping 20% into that property. So if I have $35,000 to put down on a house, that means my purchasing power, I can buy a rental for up to $175,000. And if you want to see what that math looks like, it's just taking whatever liquid funds you have and multiplying by 5. So if you put 20% down, that's 1/5 of 100%. So take what you have, multiply by 5, and that's your purchasing power. So now I can go out and purchase a $175,000 rental, which ideally I wouldn't do this unless that is throwing off cash flow in itself, and then that starts to generate equity that you can continue to use these tools like refinances and HELOCs against. And so in theory, I could go out and buy this that spits out $200, and now I'm $375 with the added value of a rental property that a tenant is paying off on my behalf. So again, this is just my scenario. I'm not saying that it's the best thing to do, but want to give you real life examples of how you can use these tools to make decisions to better your overall financial position. And again, if you're chasing towards financial freedom, it's little tweaks and things like this that can make a big difference down the road and help you speed up the process to get there. We'll wrap with that, guys. I'm Tyler Rung, and we'll catch you there.